house tour. Britney Spears' 4-floor, $3.5 million apartment in New York. The kitchen open and homey.
If I looked in your refrigerator, would I find cookie dough ice cream, hot dogs with cheese and mayo, and pickles?
You would find all those things. And Pop-Tarts.
And Pop-Tarts?
And Pop-Tarts.
Take the winding stairs to the penthouse terrace and the city sprawls at your feet. She also has a little piece of real estate she picked up back home in Kentwood, Louisiana, population 2,656. She built a $4.5 million house for her mother, who had steered her childhood career. It's called Serenity. Spears also has a brother, Brian, who lives in New York, and a little sister, Jamie Lynn, star of Nickelodeon's All That. And what about Dad? He's a building contractor who chose to stay in the small house where Britney was raised, just 7 miles away from the mansion her mother loves.
Every day she calls me, she's like, I love my house. It's so beautiful. Yeah, that was the coolest thing ever.
But your dad wanted to stay in the old house?
Yes, yeah. They wanted to, they eventually separated, so they have their own lives right now.
Do they have very different views of you and what you should do?
I think they really, at heart, I mean, they love each other so much, but I think sometimes you can love somebody, but they just cannot live together.
It still hurts.
Yeah,
if you're their child.
Yeah, well, when I was younger, I mean, of course you want your family to be able to, you know, stay together. And who knows what could happen eventually. They may get themselves together and come back and it'd be wonderful, which would be the ideal thing. But right now, you know, this is what needs to happen.
Does your dad have a lot of opinions about what you do?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Is
I
he
mean, not like...
disapproving?
Well, some things, yes, like, baby, okay, what were you wearing? Why did you know? Of course my dad does that. And my pawpaw, too.
Your grandpa?
Yeah.
Bring me right up, please.
Her family is still her constant. Her aunt, who's been battling cancer, has also been there for her as a chaperone on the road. There's help, too, with the money. Her reported net worth, $100 million. Last year, she was rated the #1 most powerful celebrity by Forbes magazine.
And we always hear these cautionary stories of people who made
so much money and then they lose their money. So, yeah, and I have an uncle from back at home who takes care of my big sum of money.
Last year, she gave away $1 million to charity, including her own foundation for inner-city kids to study music and dance. But the girl whose formal education ended in the 9th grade carries inside her an old fear that it can still all go away, and she'll be back selling crawfish in her grandma's store.
You said once it would be going back to Louisiana and working with crawfish again and having everything disappear.
I probably did at one point, but it's really weird. Like, I enjoy my life and I love what I do, but at the same time, even though we didn't have that much then, I was really happy. Like, I'm looking back right now, just the simplicity of life. It was very nice. We're going shopping, Dad. The store's on me. Yeah.
Back before she could buy anything she wanted.
It's really weird because I don't think right now I'm really like, I'm not like how I used to be. I mean, I used to roll quarters for freaking clothes, but I mean, I'm not like that. I mean, sometimes I splurge. My assistant, Felicia, she helps me out on that. She was like, if you want it, you just get it. I'm like, okay, I'll get it. But there is something about me, like if there's a sweater for $1,000, I can't buy that. Like, there's something in me that being raised, you know, a certain way, I can't, you know, do that.
You read the stories about buying $100,000 of sportswear.
No, I'm not like that at all. No.
Is it an addiction?
Is it an addiction? No, I don't think I think it's an addiction. I think it does put me, like, it makes me happy. You know, I'll go and I'll buy a hat and I'll buy some shoes and, you know, you feel pretty, you feel girly. I love that feeling. So, but no, it's not an addiction. Everything's so, no.
And in a way, it's all part of her job because her influence on young American fashion is seismic. She buys one new piece of clothing, it can set the whole world talking.
Oh, what was I thinking when I wore that? That's really dreadful. At the time, though, I thought it was like the coolest outfit in the world. You know what? I really like that outfit. Oh, and I got to go out with Michael Jackson. That was cool. So happy birthday, my friend, the king of pop.
He's still an idol of yours?
Yeah, I definitely, I mean, I think that he's done, I mean, if you really think of a genius that he is, I mean, he's brilliant. And Billie Jean, all the old stuff that he used to do, I think he's great.
Doesn't he worry you, though? The baby over the balcony kind of Michael Jackson?
Well, I think maybe growing up, like, at such a young age, and it's probably affected him somewhat, and maybe it's kind of, but I think he's a great person at heart, and I just think maybe he needs me to call him, maybe. You know, he probably needs some friends around him, to be honest, or, you know.
You think all the stuff written about him is untrue with little kids?
I want to think that's untrue. I choose to believe that's untrue. Yeah.
And what's the picture of you like the best?
The first time I went to the Grammys. It was my first time to go to a huge show, and I had a white dress on. I felt like Marilyn Monroe. It felt really special, so.
Wait a minute. Can you rewind that tape? Am I seeing what I think?
That's probably one of the moments that I like the best.
You can pop your knuckles?
Britney Spears is popping her knuckle.
How do you do that? I don't know.
For the Princess of Pop, a year of pain.
You've had a year that would test a lot of people.
Yeah, it was a weird time. Ew, I'm embarrassed. Can we stop?
When Primetime continues.